everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. My family doesn't appreciate me and treats me like garbage, so I blew up on them on Father's Day. I am a 25-year-old male and the only male in my family, not including my son and nephews. My father is separated from my mother and doesn't live with us. Over the years, I have often been the forgotten one in the family, or the one expected to give things up for others. Recently, there has been a constant need for favors, from building furniture to sorting out different technologies to being the adult figure at events for the younger ones when they're unable to make it. When I was growing up, I would often be left home alone while the others in my family went out for meals or a girls' day. Once I was left with other family members, so they could go on a holiday trip without me. I was also expected to wear my dad's old, worn-out clothes, while my sisters got everything brand new from clothes to big trips. They even had their prom entirely paid for, while I had to stay home during my own. So what caused me to blow up yesterday was Father's Day. As mentioned, I have a son myself. I do not wish to sound whiny, but this is now the fourth year in a row that I have been completely forgotten about. I'm a simple person, so I do not expect big celebrations or gifts. I just wanted a simple message saying, I would usually be able to ignore this and move on. However, Mother's Day in our family has always been a huge event with constant gifts, meals, etc. Wishing for a simple message seems so small in comparison, so I didn't feel like I was asking too much. It was not as if they had completely forgotten about it, as various members of the family posted about Father's Day, including little posts for those who have unfortunately passed away or are no longer part of the main family unit, like my father. This led to me blowing up at my family for constantly asking me for favors and to make sacrifices when I can't even get the smallest bit of acknowledgement in return. Honestly, I said a lot of things that I've been holding in for the longest time, and I don't think I've ever felt better getting it off my chest. As for the blow-up, it resulted in my mother lying about getting me something every single year, which was not true, as I keep absolutely everything related to my son or Father's Day. She then tried to make me feel guilty for being angry, followed by her quickly leaving the family group chat. My sister, however, quickly jumped in and started trying to belittle me as a father and defend my mother, followed by removing me from the group chat before I could reply. The only one on my side in all of this is my grandmother, who has been the only one to treat me fairly. Overall, both my sister and mother completely missed the point I was trying to make and acted like I had asked for a huge celebration when all I had said was that I give a lot to the family and it would have been nice to get a simple message from them. Update: after the blow up on Father's Day, things began to shift dramatically. The emotional outburst I had long kept bottled up had finally spilled over, and the aftermath was a whirlwind of family reactions and personal decisions. In the days following my outburst, I was met with a barrage of messages from various family members. They were either belittling me, playing the victim, or accusing me of being unfair. Each message seemed to reinforce the isolation I felt. Despite their attempts to downplay my feelings or shift the blame, the common thread was that they failed to grasp the core of my frustration. It wasn't about wanting a grand celebration or extravagant gifts, it was about the simple recognition and appreciation I had been denied for years. Eventually, the collective advice I received from friends and supporters pushed me toward a decisive action. I made the difficult decision to cut ties with my mother and sister. Their reactions, which ranged from defensiveness to outright pettiness, only affirmed my choice. For instance, my mother, in an act of passive-aggressive retaliation, changed the password to her streaming service account and kicked me off. Not one to back down, I responded in kind by doing the same with the service I pay for. It was a small but symbolic gesture, a way of drawing a clear line and reclaiming some sense of control. As time went on, I found a new rhythm in my life. The silence from my mother and sister became a backdrop against which I could focus on myself. 4 months have passed without a word from them, and surprisingly, there has been no attempt on their part to reach out. My mother did make a brief foray into our lives when she contacted my girlfriend for an unrelated favor, but it was quickly shut down. This brief interruption underscored just how detached I've become from that part of my life. In contrast to the turmoil, my personal life has seen a marked improvement. I secured a new job as a data technician, which has been a significant boost for my self-esteem and financial stability. Mentally, I feel lighter and more at peace. The decision to distance myself, I've been deliberate about creating a stress-free space filled only with people who uplift and support me. One constant source of solace has been my grandmother. Our weekly conversations have become a treasured part of my life, providing a sense of stability and understanding. Additionally, I've maintained close connections with my younger cousins who have shown nothing but kindness and support. Overall, the decision to cut off my family has proven to be liberating. I am doing better in my work and personal life. I've learned that sometimes removing toxic influences is necessary for personal growth and happiness. Embracing a quieter, more fulfilling life has been a transformative experience, and I'm finally finding peace in the space I've created for myself. Update 2. In the months following my decision to cut ties with my mother and sister, my life began to take on a new shape. The decision had been both difficult and necessary, and the silence from them was strangely comforting. It was as if their absence had created a void that, once filled, allowed me to breathe more freely. Initially, there were moments of uncertainty. I worried about the long-term impact of severing these family connections, but those feelings gradually faded as I immersed myself in the positives of my new routine. My work as a data technician brought a renewed sense of purpose and achievement. The challenges and learning opportunities at my job became a focal point. In my personal life, the space I had carved out for myself was not just physical but emotional. I surrounded myself with friends and acquaintances who genuinely cared about my well-being. Their support was a stark contrast to the negativity I had been accustomed to. I began to enjoy activities and hobbies I had neglected, finding joy in small everyday moments. My weekly calls with my grandmother became a cherished ritual. Her wisdom and unconditional support, our conversations were a blend of light-hearted chatter and deeper reflections, offering me insights and comfort. My younger cousins also played a significant role in this new chapter, their presence a reminder of the genuine connections that still existed within my extended family. As time passed, I found myself less focused on the void left by my mother and sister and more engaged in the process of rebuilding and self-discovery. I began to prioritize my mental health, exploring new ways to manage stress and enhance my overall well-being. I started attending workshops and seminars related to personal development, which helped me build confidence and foster a more positive mindset. One day, as I looked back on the tumultuous period, I realized how much I had grown. The absence of my mother and sister, though painful at times, had paved the way for a healthier, more fulfilling life. I had learned the value of setting boundaries and the importance of surrounding myself with people who uplift and encourage me. The journey had been challenging, but it led me to a place of peace and self-acceptance. In this new chapter, I embraced the freedom to live authentically and pursue my passions without the weight of familial expectations dragging me down. My focus was on building a future where I felt valued and content, and the steps I took to distance myself from those who had once been a source of pain were now a distant memory. I had reclaimed my life. Update 3. In the weeks and months that followed my decision to distance myself, the absence of their presence was initially jarring, but it soon became a welcome change. Without the constant strain of family dynamics overshadowing my days, I was able to find a new sense of balance and clarity. Work became a central part of my life. As a data technician, I found both satisfaction and challenge in the complexities of my job. Each project completed and each problem solved added a layer of confidence and purpose to my days. The structure and goals of my work provided a welcome distraction and a sense of accomplishment that I hadn't felt in a long time. At home, I started to rediscover hobbies and interests that had been pushed aside. I began to enjoy cooking again, experimenting with new recipes, and relishing the process of creating something from scratch. My evenings were no longer filled with the tension of unresolved family issues, but with the simple pleasure of quiet. I also picked up reading more regularly, losing myself in stories that transported me away from my own troubles. My interactions with friends became more meaningful. I reached out to people who had always been there, but whom I hadn't fully appreciated before. Conversations were lighter and more genuine, and I felt a renewed sense of connection with those who truly supported me. It was clear that these relationships, free from the baggage of familial obligations, were a source of real joy. One of the most significant changes was in how I viewed myself. The absence of the constant negativity from my mother and sister allowed me to focus on self-improvement. I started attending therapy sessions, where I explored past grievances and learned new strategies for managing stress and maintaining a positive outlook. This process of self-discovery was both enlightening and healing, helping me understand my needs and desires better. I kept in touch with my grandmother and younger cousins, who continued to be a source of stability and warmth in my life. Our interactions remained a highlight, offering both emotional support and a reminder of the good within my extended family. These relationships, built on mutual respect and care, became a cornerstone of my new, healthier life. Reflecting on the distance I had created from my mother and sister, I felt a sense of relief. The decision had been painful, but it had ultimately led me to a place of personal growth and contentment. I had learned to set boundaries and prioritize my well-being. The freedom from family conflicts allowed me to embrace a life that was more aligned with my values and aspirations. As time went on, I embraced the changes with a sense of optimism and gratitude. I had carved out a space for myself where I could thrive free from the constraints of past conflicts. My journey had not been easy, but it had been profoundly transformative. Each day brought new opportunities for growth and happiness, and I was ready to make the most of them. Thanks for tuning in to today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.